Thanks for watching Bruins 360. I'm Emily Lewandowski. On Friday night, both the men's and women's basketball team began their regular season at home in the Davis Fieldhouse. Bethany Williams has a recap of the night's events.
On Friday night, the men's and women's basketball teams hosted the Johnson University Royals for the Bruins' first home games of the season. The women's game tipped off at 5 p.m. and the Bruins jumped to an early lead. The Royals cut the Bruins' lead close, but the Bruins came out for the second half with more intensity. The Bruins' strong defense forced 25 turnovers throughout the game. Kim Speaker took advantage of a defensive mismatch and posted 20 points. Maggie Ford provided 12 points with some great three-point shooting, and Kendra Jeffcott had her first double-double of the season with 14 points and 10 rebounds. The Lady Bruins defeated the Royals 64-52. At 7 p.m., the men's game took off with newcomer Larry Taylor taking advantage of the Royals' defense with quick passes and strong drives through the lane. The Bruins extended their lead in the second half by shooting just under 50%. Taylor led the Bruins with 23 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds. Kyle Turner contributed 19 points, and Zach Mercado provided 12. The Bruins scored the most game points in their program's history and finished with a 90-64 victory over the Royals. For Bruins 360, I'm Bethany Williams.
Saturday, the women's basketball team played their first away game of the season and lost to Columbia College 75-62. The women's soccer team traveled to Florida last week to play in the NCCA South Regional Tournament. On Thursday, they played Toccoa Falls and won 3-0. Then on Saturday, played Clearwater and lost 1-2. The men's soccer team won their last regular season game against Chowan University with a final score of 9-0. The cross-country team ran in their last regular season meet on Saturday. Both the men's and women's team came in first, and the men's team walked away with a perfect score. Although some sports are winding down, others like basketball are just gearing up. Johnny Gamet sat down with Bruins athletic director and men's head basketball coach Neil Ring. Johnny?
Emily, I'm here with Coach Ring, and we're going to be talking about the basketball season that just kicked off last week. Both of our teams getting victories over Johnson University. Let's just start off with it, Coach, what's the biggest differences that you see from this year's team and last year's team?
Yeah, I think there's a confidence level. There's some experience that has built some confidence with different players coming back. And then, we've added a couple of freshmen and a couple of transfers that come in, and the transfers in particular are ready to make an impact, and the freshmen we're working to develop and hope that they will make a positive impact for us as we go forward.
How's that changed you mentioned the transfers coming in, helping on the offensive side in particular. Mm-hmm. How's that changed the offensive system and what you guys are able to do on the floor?
Yeah, really, we didn't change a lot. We tweaked a few things. We always ran a secondary last year. We just kind of changed what we did. Mm-hmm. We're looking to push the ball a little bit more in transition. We like getting out in transition. Last year we wanted to try to do that, and we had 39 turnovers in our first game. So we had to change a little bit of what we were trying to do. We do a lot of ball screen action. The rules are very preferable to the offensive team in the ball screen setting. So we're going to try to use that to our advantage to get to the free throw line a lot. And we changed a little bit of how we were going to finish each possession. But really we're doing the same structure. We just have a few different options that we're working on to get better at each day.
Talk about the depth that you guys have also had with bringing in new freshmen, bringing in some transfer students. You talked about having the confidence last year, but one thing that we struggled with last year was having a lot of depth coming in to be able to give guys some rest at different times of the game. How are these guys coming in being able to provide that depth for you guys?
Yeah, I think it does two things for us. Depth is you can have a lot of players, and then you can have a lot of players that are in positions where they're comfortable, and that's what we've been able to do. We've been able to put some guys in some places where they're very comfortable, very capable of impacting our team, and not asking them to do something that is outside of their comfort level. So we're still a little thin inside. We've got to we got to recognize some different ways to play inside defensively that hurt us on Friday night. Thankfully, we had a nice lead, but we had a hard time stopping a big post player. So that's going to be a continued struggle for us. But hopefully, as our inside players get more experience and get more used to playing together, and we'll work that out and be a tougher team in the paint.
Let's talk a little bit off the court about, I know you stress the theme for the program being all about living Christ and using platform of athletics for the spread of the gospel and for glorifying God. Talk about some of the ways that we do that with our players off the court, in particular the basketball team.
Yeah, I think one thing that we've added to that foundation this year is 4 core values. And we talk a lot about integrity. We have a world that needs integrity, and we try to emphasize that with our young men. Collective responsibility. We don't accept, whining, complaining, or excuses. And then we try to, to show humility. And a part of that is appreciation for the opportunity that God has given us. And so we try to build on these core values that allow us to have a practical, hook to put things on. We say we live Christ. Well, how do we do that? One of the things that we're doing is we're adding some what we call Wise Up, which is a study of Proverbs that I get the privilege to do with them. And then we have other individual meetings that I do with the players. We have a team collective meeting where they do Bible study, and so it's one of those things where we try and teach them, feed them, from a spiritual perspective. And then we go out and we do things like, helping auto racing outreach and putting, all of that teaching into practicality and using that platform for ministry. We challenge them as they play to live Christ and to be different, work hard, be passionate, don't back down, but there is a way to do Christian athletics, and we expect that from them.
All right, that's Coach Ring of the men's basketball team. You can find out more about the team by visiting bjubruins.com. Emily, back to you.
Coming up for the Bruins, on Saturday, November 9th, the men's basketball team will be on the road playing Johnson University, and the women's basketball team will travel to Georgia to play Truett-McConnell. Check out our website, bjubruins.com, for game previews and recaps, our What's Bruin podcast, team schedules, and more. Thanks again for watching Bruins 360.